What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and before we get into this Flyers victory recap, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. We are very close to the 400 sub count, so if you are a new viewer to the channel, I definitely recommend hitting that sub button. Get all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, updates, whatever you want to call it. Definitely recommend hitting that sub button. Come join the family here. And if you are a current subscriber, long-time subscriber, I call you crazy for being that, but I also appreciate you. Definitely recommend reaching out, getting people to join here. Let's grow this channel together, get it over the 400 sub count, and continue to grow from there. So let's get into the business. The Philadelphia Flyers, what a gutsy win over the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Score of 2-1. They sweep the back-to-back between Edmonton and Vancouver, and now they have a chance to sweep this road trip this upcoming Saturday night against the Calgary Flames. So yeah, this was a really gutsy win, and Martin Jones was outstanding tonight. After really just not seeing anything in that first period, because the Flyers dominated that first period. The Flyers' best period tonight was that first period. It was a Vancouver dominated second period, and it was very back and forth in the third. But Martin Jones, especially getting into that second period when Vancouver was taking the lead in the momentum, and especially when the Flyers started to get very, very undisciplined, he stepped up. Martin Jones stole this game for the Flyers, and it's just a gutsy win on a back-to-back. You could see the fatigue was settling in. The strides were getting longer in the skates. It was just a gutsy performance, and Martin Jones won this game for this team, and I can't be more happy to say that. And other things to talk about in this game, Claude Giroux continues his point streak to start the season. Adds a couple of assists in tonight's game on both Flyers goals. All the goals in this game came in the first period. And the first one came very early into this game, 22 seconds in. A beautiful pass from Claude Giroux over the Travis Konecny. Then he has a beautiful feed over the Sean Couturier, who just snipes it past Halak, and it becomes a 1-0 lead for the Flyers early on. But Vancouver responds not that long after. Really their best possession, I would say, of that first period. Just a really fluky goal at the same time. Quinn Hughes throws it onto the net. They were setting up in the zone, so he throws it on net. Just a bunch of traffic in front of Martin Jones, like at least 3-4 guys there. Goes off the post, goes off of his skate, then bounces into the net, and it becomes a tied game. Really can't blame anyone for that instance. It's a fluky goal, lucky bounce for the Vancouver Canucks, so the game ends up tied. But then the Flyers, they start to draw some penalties. Joel Farabee in that first period was drawing the power plays for the Flyers, and on the Flyers' very first power play, it did not take that long to get on the board with it. Just a beautiful passing play by Claude Giroux, Sean Couturier. Also Keith Yandel, he was a part of this too, but he didn't get an assist recorded from it. Claude Giroux banks it off the boards behind the net to Couturier, who then throws a cross crease to James Van Riemsdyk, who's net front, and he buries it. Makes it a 2-1 game. JVR in his office, tic-tac-toe. That's your last goal of the game, and it made it 2-1. And the Flyers, they had a lot more chances in that period as well. Claude Giroux coming in off of a nice feed from Scott Laughton, who missed the net. Yaroslav Halak made a nice save. Halak got better as the game went along, but honestly, if it wasn't for Halak, the Flyers could have easily been up 4-1, 5-1 in that first period. It honestly reminds you of the first game between the Flyers and Canucks, when the Flyers had that really dominant first period, but Thatcher Demko was basically just stopping every puck in sight and prevented the Flyers from scoring a ton of goals in that first period, basically keeping Vancouver in the game. And that's what Halak did in that first period. Flyers got their chances. They had a couple of more power plays. The second power play for the Flyers wasn't as good, but the power play, I would say, on the most part for tonight, they went 1 for 5, and they had a lot of good looks. They definitely did, especially on one during the second period. Just more great passing from Giroux, this time to Van Riemsdyk, who found Couturier backdoor. He just missed the net. Halak made the save as well. But still, the power play, it's been good this year, and it's a nice thing to say that. The power play has been good this year after how abysmal it was last season. So it's nice to see that they can contribute on that. But they went 1 for 5. I would like them to maybe score a couple of more. But they're getting the good looks. The puck's going to start going into the net more once they find a way to finish more. Even though they're still one of the best power plays in the league, I'm saying they honestly have a lot of chances where they can finish more, and they're still one of the better power plays in the NHL. They're top 10, I think, currently. Top 7, I think, at the most. But still, you go out to the period, You have a 2-1 lead. So now you go into the second. Flyers, they get a couple of chances early on. Claude Giroux with a nice feed to Sean Couturier early on. He just misses the net. But then you get a fight between Zach McEwen and Luke Schenn. Brawling it out, McEwen wins the fight, but then McEwen gets an extra penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, where he was grabbing the face mask of Luke Schenn during the fight, and I had no idea that was even a penalty at that point. So we were all questioning, why is McEwen getting an extra penalty? Was there something before the fight that sparked it to why he got the penalty? But no, it was during the fight, grabbing the face mask. So Vancouver goes to the power play, but the Flyers penalty kill once again stepped up tonight, especially after what happened yesterday against the Oilers. They stepped up last night, they stepped up tonight once again, but still the Flyers are getting to be undisciplined. They take 5 penalties in this game after that Zach McEwen penalty. So Ristolainen, then he gets called for a cross-check later in this period. Flyers kill that penalty off. Then the Flyers get a couple of more power plays, especially later during the game in the third period, when you really don't want to take those penalties when you're up 2-1 trying to close the game out. So Vancouver, in that second period, they were dominated. They were getting shots off. Martin Jones had to come up clutch, and he did. And the Flyers, I would say, they did keep Vancouver to the outside, but when Vancouver got their dangerous chances, Martin Jones getting some saves. Vancouver taking shots from the point. You got guys down low trying to stuff it in. Martin Jones is there to stop the puck, making glove saves, deflecting the puck out of play. Martin Jones was on in that second period, and we like to see that. And for shots, basically a complete opposite of the first and the second period. The first period, 15-4 in favor of the Flyers in the shot total. Then the second period, it was 5-16 in favor of Vancouver. So definitely you can tell where the momentum was sided in the first 2 periods. But then we go to the third, which was more of a evenly, I would say, paced period for both teams. The Flyers, they did get a power play at the end of that second period. That was where that nice Sean Couturier feed came from, but they weren't able to score on that. The Flyers get a very early penalty in the second period. They're not able to cash in. Probably not their best power play of the day, but it was better than their second power play. They got some nice looks, but they weren't able to cash in. But then the Flyers start getting into their undisciplined state. Oscar Lindblom, yeah, you can call this holding soft, but there was a lot of penalties that the refs missed, especially tonight as well. A lot of missed penalties on Vancouver, a lot of missed penalties on the Flyers. So the refereeing was, iffy for both sides, if I say it, I guess, politely. Definitely. So Lindblom goes to the box. Flyers kill that penalty off. Martin Jones has to make some nice saves. And then not that long after, JVR gets a tripping penalty, so Vancouver has to go back to the power play. But thankfully, this power play didn't last long, as Sean Couturier manages to get a holding penalty called against him. Well, again, not for him, not against him. It would have been a 5-on-3 if it was against him. Well, it's late at night, people. Cut me some slack. So the 4-on-4 happens, and Vancouver gets a great chance. You got Bo Horvat. It was Brock Besser coming in, toe-dragging around the net, goes around for the wraparound, and then somehow the puck lands in the slot. They take the shot on Martin Jones. He saves it on that one-timer, and the Flyers survived that chance, so Martin Jones bailing out the team there. And there were quite a few instances, especially in that second period as well, where the Flyers struggled to get it out of their own zone. They turned the puck over, and Vancouver got a chance going the other way. Martin Jones had to make the save. That was basically the summary of the second and the third period. I would say the turnovers were fewer in that third period, but still Martin Jones had to make some nice 10-bell saves in that period, which is very nice to see. And also during one of Vancouver's power plays, once again, you got Yaroslav Halak springing Bo Horvat, or JT Miller actually, and he just claps it on net. Martin Jones has to deflect it the other way, so him coming up clutch on the penalty kill as well. But as you get to the later stages of the game, 5-on-5 action for majority of it, Flyers get their chances, Vancouver gets their chances, both goalies are making saves, but Vancouver starts to hem the Flyers in their own zone once you're getting down to around the 2-minute mark. So you're getting the empty net situation, and then Provorov takes a tripping penalty. JT Miller forces him to trip, and the Flyers once again go to the penalty kill. So it'll be a 6-on-4 with the extra attacker because of the empty net. And the Flyers have to find a way to survive this game. And they do. Honestly, for Vancouver, that wasn't the best power play they could have had in the game. They probably chose the worst possible time to not have a good power play, because the Flyers, they just kept clearing it down the ice, and they eventually, the last clear, seals off the game, wastes so much time on the clock, and that's how your game ends, as the Flyers steal this game, honestly. Martin Jones, steal this game. 2-1. Flyers sweep the back-to-back, which is very nice to see. Gutsy win. Such a good win for this team. And that's something you can use going into Saturday's game against Calgary, who's honestly, I think, hot in their own right because they've won a good amount of games on their East Coast road trip. So hopefully the Flyers can, catch Calgary coming back home. They go off on a nice win streak. Your first game back home, maybe they can catch them slipping a little bit, maybe catch them sleeping. Flyers got a couple of wins here on the road trip. That's nice to see. So shot totals finished out in this game 28-28 even. They were 8-8 in the third period. Your 3 stars in this game, Claude Giroux for the Flyers, Brock Besser, 2nd star for Vancouver, and Martin Jones was the 3rd star for the Flyers. Power plays in this game, Flyers went 1 for 5 and Vancouver went 0 for 5. Hits heavily favored in Vancouver, 41-13. Vancouver also blocked a lot of shots. Flyers really didn't have to block as many shots as they did last game. They only had 7 to Vancouver's 14. But hey, they found a way to win this game. Martin Jones came up big for them, which is huge. And I still just can't credit much to guys that are contributing on offense. JVR gets his first goal of the season, and Claude Giroux finds his way onto the score sheet once again. Sadly, you don't get to see Cam Atkinson get another goal in this game, even though he had so many chances in this game. He was just shooting every puck that he saw, which is very funny to see. But still, Claude Giroux continues his point streak to start the season. He has 8 points now to start the season, which is really nice to see. So all those strip the C crowd, the Claude Giroux haters, can, shut up, hopefully, for the time being, even though they're going to find their way into the crowd of hating Claude Giroux, which always happens with that crowd, but I'm not going to get into that conversation because it's just asinine. It's stupid. I don't know why it is even a thing, but can't really complain much tonight, hopefully, even though they'll find a way to complain. I want to see the stats actually updated for this game. I'm not sure if NHL.com updated anything after this game. Yes, they did. So Claude Giroux, after this game, he has 8 points officially on the season, 4 goals, 4 assists. Sean Couturier gets on the score sheet twice as well. He has 7 points to start the season. So honestly, he's been quietly getting points there for the Flyers. 7 points for him. So that Atkinson line, Farabee, Brassard, I wouldn't say they had a bad game. They had their chances, definitely. Joel Farabee, Brassard also had a 2-on-1 in that third period. They just couldn't connect. But still, that line goes pointless tonight. And also just credit much to guys like Martin Jones. He was fantastic in this game. He stole this game for the team when they were breaking down in that second period, and he just went on from there, bailing this team out, and you cannot give enough credit to Martin Jones. So looking at the rest of the Flyers' upcoming schedule, like I said, this Saturday, they play the Calgary Flames to finish off this West Coast road trip in Canada. So let's see if the Flyers can, sweep this Western Canadian road trip playing Johnny Gaudreau and the Calgary Flames. Let's see if they can do it there. Then the Flyers, when they start the month of November, they play Tuesday the 2nd at home against the Arizona Coyotes, and then they go right back on the road for their first, I would say, I think it's their first Metropolitan Division matchup of the season, I believe. Yes, it will be. So the first week in November, they'll have their first games against the Metro Division on the road against the Penguins and the Capitals. So, tough upcoming schedule. Flyers are winning their games, and Martin Jones stole this game for this team. He played absolutely fantastic. So, what are your thoughts on this video, everyone? What are your thoughts on Martin Jones, this Flyers game? I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section below, as always, so do not forget to leave those down there. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer.pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing to do is hit that sub button. I'll greatly appreciate that, and I will see you next time.